Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls of the YouTube world, CJ Rose's back in the building. Welcome back to the channel. All right. Video number 2 for the day. And our second match we're going to talk about is for the women's title. As what time is it? Tiffy time. As our women's champion, Tiffany Stratton will defend against the 2025 Queen of the Ring, Jade Cargill. Now, I do believe this match takes a very interesting turn now as a result of Evolution. See, at Evolution, Naomi cashed in her Money in the Bank. She is now the reigning Women's World Champion. Shocked us all. Didn't know that was going to happen. But that's what I love. I love unpredictability. But with Naomi being the Women's World Champion, I feel like maybe the decision of how this match goes now versus before changes. Because easily with Naomi being Miss Money in the Bank and her hatred of Jade Cargill, and for her to not want Jade Cargill to succeed, you easily could have had maybe Jade Cargill wins the women's championship, then Naomi comes from behind, attacks her, knocks her out, then cashes in Money in the Bank, then boom, Naomi becomes women's champion, stealing Jade Cargill's moment. You could have did that. You could have did that there. But WWE said, nah. Naomi, win that women's world title. So does this change the dynamic of how this match is going to go? Honestly, I don't know. I'm not sure. Do I have Jade Cargill winning? I mean, before I had her winning, but it was only to set up something else, honestly. But Jade winning now, I mean, sure, why not? You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't mind if she wins. I wouldn't mind it. But do I want it? I don't mind her winning, but is that the decision that I want? Because Tiffany. At this particular point in time, Tiffany Stratton has been champion for the whole year at this moment. At this point, she's been champion for the whole year. She cashed in her Money in the Bank on the first SmackDown of the year. And ever since then, she's beaten Nia Jax, Bayley, Charlotte, and just this past Sunday, Trish Stratus. The funny thing is, this will be a 7th title defense, and I just don't remember all her title defenses. I feel like she had a triple threat somewhere, and I just can't remember. I just can't for the life of me remember what it is. Because she had Charlotte at WrestleMania. She had Nia twice. She had Trish Stratus this past Sunday. And Bayley was her very first title defense. What was that 6th one? I want to look it up, but I'm like, nah, I'm not going to do that. I don't know what her 6th match was. I'm trying to remember all the pay-per-views so far, because we had the Rumble, we had Elimination Chamber, we had Mania, we had Backlash. Did we have Money in the Bank after that? Do we have something in the middle? Because I know we had Night Champions before we had Evolution. That was the last one. Then it was Money in the Bank. No, I think we had Backlash, then Money in the Bank. Don't quote me on that, because I'm definitely not sure. And I review these shows. You would think I remember. No, it had to be Money in the Bank. It had to be Money in the Bank, because Lyra Valkyria and Becky Lynch had their first match, and then their second match had Money in the Bank. Yep, and they're about to have their third. We'll talk about that later. But yeah, so yeah, but then it had to be a SmackDown. It had to be a SmackDown title defense. I just don't know who who's the one that challenged? I can't remember. I'm gonna hurt my head trying to think. Promise you I will. But yeah, Tiffany Stratton's had this title for this whole year. I don't know who's going to be the person to take it from her. Jade Cargill may be that person. But do I think Jade Cargill is ready? This is the biggest match of her career so far. Is she ready to become women's champion? I do believe her rivalry with Naomi has helped her because it's something that she needed. She needed a feud. And we got Naomi. And it's been a pretty good feud. It's actually been one of the best feuds of the year. I'm being honest on that. Like, Jade Cargill, Naomi has been one of the best feuds of the year. And both of them have come out smelling like roses. That's probably the better thing of this rivalry. I always feel like a rivalry is really good if both people come out the other end beautifully. Right? Like, Naomi's the women's world champion. She'll defend her title at SummerSlam. Jade Cargill is getting the women's championship match at SummerSlam as well. And both these women just had a rivalry. Like, come on now, look at the beauty of it. Come on now. What we doing? What we doing? Come on. So maybe I do have Jade Cargill winning. What happens next? Maybe Bianca Belair probably gets inserted after Jade wins. Because, see, you have something with Jade if Jade wins the title. You have something. With Tiffany, there's not that many opponents she has left. You know what I'm saying? I mean, Alexa Bliss is somebody she has to defend the championship against. And Tiffany Stratton versus Alexa Bliss is not a bad match. That actually sounds like a pretty damn good match. So that's one of the few that you have in the future. You know what I'm saying? I would have said Julia as well, but Julia is the women's United States champion. And I don't know how long she'll have that title. But even if she is the women's United States champion or not, they would still find a way to put her in the match facing Tiffany Stratton. So there's a few matches that Tiffany does have left that she can defend the women's championship against. But with Jade Cargill, hold on, something just came to my head. Something just came to my head. There have been talks about Bianca Belair finally turning heel on the main roster. Because Bianca's been a heel before, but she's never been a heel on the main roster. I'm going to take a stab in the dark here. If you're ever on my channel, you know I try my best to not predict the future. I try not to. The only thing I'll really ever predict are matches and sometimes outcomes based on, what possibly could happen. I'm going to take a stab in the dark here. But it depends on how they set it up, too. That's the other thing. So let's say that during this 2-week build, Bianca and Jade finally have some words, right? Let's say hypothetically they finally have a conversation. Bianca talks to Jade. She's like, I'm sorry for how things went. I'm proud of what you become. I'm proud you got a title match. I hope you win, right? Giving Jade that false sense of security. Because Jade now thinks everything is all good. They finally had the conversation. They finally spoke because they haven't spoke since Jade's come back and beat the hell out of Naomi at Elimination Chamber. They still have yet to have a conversation. So maybe during this time, they have a conversation, they talk. Jade feels good because Bianca is still her friend. But that gives Jade that false sense of security. So whereas at SummerSlam, Jade's on the cusp of winning. Bianca comes out there. And then Bianca screws her over. Tiffany Stratton retains. And then we go into the feud between Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair. Now, I know a lot of people want that at WrestleMania. I mean, we could do that at WrestleMania too, so maybe we hold off on this. But I don't know if you want to hold off on that for that long. Till Mania? Mania's in April. We're in July, about to be in August. I mean, we can hold on to it, but Jade needs things in front of her in order to make sure that we can secure that match. You know what I'm saying? Or that feud. Or Jade Cargill wins the women's championship, holds it for a while, then Bianca turns heel, and then boom, we get that blow off match. I just don't know. See, if Jade Cargill becomes champion, I don't know if I want her holding that title for that long. From August till April, that's a long time. I mean, she'll have matches, she'll have opponents, because Jade hasn't really had a lot. She's had some one-on-one matches, but she hasn't had a lot of one-on-one matches. I mean, we could have the proper Jade Cargill versus Nia Jax match. We can finally have Jade Cargill versus Charlotte Flair. That match has been teased God knows how many times over the course of 2 years. We can have the Jade Tiffany Stratton rematch. Like, we can have a lot of matches. You know what I'm saying? There's a lot of matches that could be made. But it all depends on, we know Jade versus Bianca right now is the finish line. The question is, how do we get there? And when do we get there? When do we get there? That's the question. When do we get there? How do we get there? I don't know. But somewhere trying to get to that finish line, SummerSlam has to be the starting point. Like, it got to be the starting point. You start in the summer, and then you build it to a point where it's like, okay, now we can make this happen. You know what I'm saying? But it all depends on how we get there and how we do it. Right now, I don't know. And right now, I ain't about to think that far ahead. All I know is I'm going to take a stab in the dark right now, and I'm going to say Jade Cargill wins the women's title. I'm going to take a stab in the dark right now. In 2 weeks, my mind will probably change. We'll see how the build is, and that's it. You know what I'm saying? That's all I can say. But right now, I got Jade Cargill winning the women's title. And that's all I got. So until then, it's been Rose, man. Thank you for watching. Thank you for all the love and support as always. You will see me tomorrow. We will talk about 2 more SummerSlam matches. Then on Thursday, you'll get my preview match for Slammiversary. And then Friday, you will get the last SummerSlam match. Actually, you'll probably get more, because probably on SmackDown, more SummerSlam matches will be made. So yeah, it is what it is at this point. So until next time, peace, love, 100. You heard?